Welcome
Got
back
nervous.
to another episode of Logical Crazy Talk. Here with Tim, Money Mark, Chris, Cassius Clay.
Yeah, the greatest.
That's a terrible name. I don't know who told you to have that.
It was a stab.
Whatever. You do what you got to do. I mean, that's what you want to do. But you know.
Hey man. Well,
Chris,
let me do it.
Clay.
Shit.
Podcast is basically generally just our thoughts and things that we've seen and all types of other stuff. And you know, me personally, I like to play video games. I've always been a video gamer. I've always, done all this and that. And it was very interesting. So I'm an avid YouTuber. I like podcasts and other things. I was looking at a podcast and they were talking about the instant craze for the PlayStation 5, right? So in the lieu of the PlayStation 5, first and foremost, have any of you guys tried to grab a PlayStation 5 or have any of you guys tried to get your hands on one?
I did. I spent the whole goddamn day trying to get a PS5 from Walmart, you sons of bitches. And I had one in the basket and I had it paid for and then it said sold out.
Oh, got hit with okie doke. You must not know what a bot is. What about you, Tim?
I definitely know what a bot is. I just thought I was looking.
Obviously you don't, sir, because you don't have one. You don't have one right now. What about you, Tim? Or not? Tim? What is going on? Chris, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Tim, can you not hear us?
Did you?
All right, I'm back.
Oh.
You were telling me stuff, but my audio had dropped a long while ago.
Oh, he said that right before it dropped too. I just didn't know what you were talking about.
Shouts out to Chris for not saying anything. All right.
Yes, my bad.
So Tim, did you try to get a PlayStation 5?
I sure did not. Cause I knew it was gonna be craziness. It's already COVID, and I was just like, I can wait. I'll take the $50 off. That's gonna come here in a couple of months, probably. So
you scared of that video? You scared of that vid?
yeah, man.
Scared of that running wrong? You let that stop you from greatness? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You let COVID stop you from greatness, huh? You could have been out here flipping stations, flipping Tim.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Nah.
Well,
we're here talking about flipping, right? So, this whole scarcity craze that's going on has now created this whole situation where now Cass is out here, trying to flip. Because the bots done made it to the PlayStations, guys. The bots done made it to the systems. So now everybody's out here using their bots. Everybody's out here buying 1,000 PlayStation and flipping them for 1,000, 1,500. I think the most I've seen is 1,500. 1,500. Let me ask you guys, how much would you guys be willing to spend on PlayStation 5?
0. Nah.
So you want PlayStation 5? You an Xbox nigga? Fuck out of here.
Nah, man. The most I'd be willing to pay is the retail price. Because they selling it for that shit.
That means you don't have a PlayStation 5. That's what that sounds like to me.
That sounds like I can wait, and I'm not an impulse buyer.
I am
your ass is out there.
I am the worst impulse buyers. Like I see someone else with it, like I want one too. I need it. I'm not willing to pay more than the retail price for one. I can wait. Like it's not a do or die thing for me, but I was trying to get one when I saw that it was available. I tried my damnedest.
On the restock or the first time?
The first go around, and I didn't even know they had a restock, so shame on me, I guess.
Yeah, they snuck that in there real quick.
Well, I'll say this. I knew I wasn't going to get it right away because I recently just had a child, so I knew that, that's probably not happening. So I didn't even interject. Oddly enough, while I was doing all that, I came across a couple of cats who just had it. They hit me up asking me if I wanted it. but I just wasn't willing to spend the $500 that it costs to pay for the system as of right now.
What?
If it was up to me, and if it was up to like, if it was basically up to how much money I was willing to spend, I'd spend 100 over. I'd spend 100 over, 100, 150 over retail. If I really wanted it, like I spend 100, 150 over
But
retail.
why? Just to have it now? Be in the know?
Essentially, like I said, if I wanted it now, that's what I'm willing to do. Like we can wait, and that's fine. See, for me, I'll say this: there's no PlayStation 5 release that goes, okay, I gotta grab it. I mean, I would like to see how God of War looks like on it. I like to see it. I heard Destiny looks amazing on it. Yeah. I played Destiny, so I like to see that. Other than that, I really don't know like what else essentially. But let's say if they have a whole hard ass release, yeah, let me go and get it 150. I spend 150 on the top. I mean, has anybody else gotten anything at release? I remember PlayStation 3. I spent almost like $700 on the PlayStation 3. Shoot. And that's just how much it costs. They just reduced the price.
I don't remember the PlayStation 3.
Huh? I do.
I don't even remember the PlayStation 3.
They had like 5 versions of PlayStation 3. Like the.
You know what? I lied. I think I got it for Christmas. So I was like a child then. So I didn't spend any money on it.
Man. Heck yeah. I think that was the first one. No, I think I went to college with that, with the 3.
Yeah, I bought it at.
Yeah, we did. You should damn did. We did.
What's that mall on University? That on University?
What?
Parkway? No, you talking about Madison
Stop?
Mall. Madison Mall on University?
Yeah. No, is it mall? Is it Madison Mall? Yeah, I bought it there. Anyways, wherever that mall was on University in Huntsville, that's where I bought it. And it was funny because you couldn't find it in Illinois, and I just happened to walk in the mall, and I was refund checked up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, man, go ahead, man.
Damn, that's crazy. I didn't.
You know what I mean?
I think my mom got a Christmas gift.
Oh, man.
Put that joint down there. You know what I'm saying? It's funny because I was over here, I think that was like the second refund check or something like that, and it was like stupid because I was irresponsible, and I was like, yeah, it comes with this, like, let me get that and a controller, got it.
Balling out of control.
Was looking at me like, I see you. Yeah. It's funny because it's like right outside of the GameStop, there was like a jewelry spot that had like the light up belts and chains. And I was like, oh man, I can get me a chain. And I was like, nigga, I'm in college. That sounds stupid. And then I just walked home with my PlayStation 5. That's my story.
Man, it's a hell of a story.
Yeah, you gotta have stories, man. All right, so you two ain't willing to spend more than retail.
Nah, not for something that's going to be eventually on retail, like just waiting.
When?
I don't know. It will be.
What if it doesn't get on retail until about July?
Like, I'd say about like 3, 6. I mean, like, and the gameplay isn't. Well, for me, it's not going to be so significant because I haven't seen PS5. Like, I haven't actually like interacted with that new gaming or the next gen like chips and all that. So I don't see the what did they do? They increased the image. There's like no wait time for loading or whatever. So I'm still handling the PS4. I don't have any of that new shit. I don't need it. I'm not gonna miss it. You know what I'm saying? Like my new normal is this normal. So I mean,
yeah, I don't need
you sound like a loser.
Right.
You two sound like losers. I would, if I was about that life, if I didn't have any responsibilities, I'd definitely have it right now. It's interesting because it's funny because like this is like the first time like a new system came out, and I was like, I'm not really on it right now because life happened. Hey. I had at least 2 people ask me if I didn't want one, and I was like, well, I just like, no, I'm straight. So, If anyone needs an Xbox, I know someone got one.
Nah,
So
that's not
yeah.
as exclusive. It's not.
Actually,
Somebody,
I heard it actually is. I mean, people are
True
getting
that.
them. I bet the same thing is happening with Xbox. Apparently, it's just the
Well, true.
PlayStation 5 is just like the the one that made the news for whatever reason. That's that's an interesting outfit you got over there, Chris. What's good you got going on over there?
oh, you like
You
my
look very
overalls?
action packed. You look very action packed.
My Nike overalls? You like that?
Oh,
The Korea, whatever these
you look
things
like you're
are.
ready. You look like you're ready for action.
Yo,
What are you
heck
out here
yeah.
doing?
Yeah,
You out here karate kicking?
Have to go.
oh, did I look like I should do some karate, shouldn't I? Like shit, something.
Something. Jump out of a plane. All of it.
It,
Ready
it
for
I mean,
is.
action.
whatever, dude. I mean, that's what you got going on. I mean, you like walking around
You
here with
like
the
it though?
neons and the oranges.
I
You know what
like
I'm
it.
saying?
I
It's
like
not
You
it.
look like an
orange at
anime
all. It's
character,
red.
black anime character. And whatnot. But anyway,
I like it.
so anyways,
Thanks,
moving
Tim.
forward. Moving forward.
Niggas be hating, man. Niggas talk
No,
about
who's
orange.
hating? I just asked you. I just said that you have an
Because it's
interesting
red.
outfit. Is that negative? Is that negative?
red.
You call that hate?
Yeah, man, you
You're
got that
not,
shit
you're not
like that
sensitive,
too,
are
man.
you?
You got your
Huh?
arms all out, got your hamburger meat hanging out the top of your chest, man.
I don't have hamburger meat. I'm representing your team. Rocking
I
a
know,
jersey.
that's what I said.
I'm rocking a jersey. That fella ain't gonna be there for too much longer. But anyways, um, at all. So speaking of PlayStation 5, the crazy PlayStation 5 is interesting. I'm really into podcasts, and I was Joe Budden Network got a podcast. I forgot it has Mandy and some of these other people in it. It's like three girls, and they were talking about the craze of the PlayStation 5. It was three women, and the conversation was like, "Yo, y'all are grown ass men. Why are y'all running around out here trying to play over on a PlayStation? Don't y'all got anything better to do?" And then one of the ladies made a comment stating that when I see men who play video games, I just assume they have trash dick.
D.
I don't know if
Okay.
we're cursing on this podcast or not. Now I saw that and I was like, huh, right? I looked at that and I was like, that's an interesting take. And I wanted to see here, like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, it seems like there's a class of women that feel like men shouldn't be playing video games. I know when I first got married, I had to deal with necessarily the conversation of like, where you're always playing video games. My mentality is that these video games are absorbing the time that I would do. They're absorbing the time and the focus that we're at once on other things that wouldn't be conducive to the situation that we got going on here. So these video games have now created an environment.
True.
Now I can
Is
stay
that what
home.
that does?
True. But
For myself, yes, that's what it was. Yes, there was
this
a lot of other energy that was dedicated to other things. But now I'm in a scenario.
Talking about, young man.
Huh? I respect the sanctity of my situation, so I'm not going to go into details of that. That sounds stupid. I'm willing to speak on that.
He talking about these bitches.
But
man.
I'm not speaking of that, sir. I've never speak of that.
I mean, my question to her would be like, has she seen like how much money these people pulling? Like the people that actually make it in gaming? These esport people?
But I can see if you're dedicating your life to this, but you over here on the couch playing games,
Oh yeah.
I
mean,
like,
you have to.
like,
I don't know. Some people have different like coping mechanisms, like to de-stress from like. Some people have their like a serious professional life, so some people just want to come home and just like de-stress or just vibe out.
And
so I don't see anything wrong.
Yeah, if you're handling what you have to handle at home, if you got a whole family like that, even if you don't have a family, if you handle your own business, you should be able to do whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of niggas that ain't got no jobs, and they out here just like you got level.
Strong.
More credits, more game credits.
Hey, baby,
so much money.
Use your debit card to buy
on the game.
Some QV points. I need some.
My thought process is this. You know what I'm saying? I think that we all have our hobbies, and like I think. So the video game thing wasn't really that bad of a situation. Like I didn't really have to go to that depth with that, but you know, my thing with shoes was like a question, and we had to have a conversation about that. And I, you know, the way I had to break it down is like when you have your interests, like you know, purses or whatever the case may be. You know, to me, I have a goal of getting all the releases that I wanted, that I've ever wanted, and having them. You know what I mean? Whether they be, you know, this shoe or that shoe. So I have those are just my thing. You know what I mean? You have your thing. You don't realize you have your thing, but you have your thing. You have your thing that you're super into. You have your purses. You have your, you know, your hair care products. Like she's super into the hair care products, and we have like literally our closet. We have like a closet, like in the bathroom. We have like a little closet, and it's literally like a whole wall of natural hair care products. And I'm just like, are you putting all those on at one time? How is that?
Run that money.
What's going on with that?
$40.
Like, that's why we have Amazon Prime solely just for black hair care products. But I mean, that's her thing. Like I can tell that's her thing. That's your thing, right? Your hair, you know. And hey, kudos to you. You know, do your thing. I think when it comes down to video games, and I think it's okay to have, like I said, like Chris said, I'm not gonna call you whatever you call it. Just call yourself. Like Chris said,
Cocaine Cowboy Chris, bang bang.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, man. My bad. Go on. What you saying?
Just sit in that moment.
Yes.
Sit in that. That's right.
So anyways, yeah, so you know what I'm saying? As long as you take care of business, I don't see there's no issues. Me personally, like while I was playing video games and while she wasn't understanding, and then she eventually understood it. I mean, in the transition of that, I got my MBA. I was still working a professional job. I mean, you know, in all intents and purposes, all the little like stripes that a successful man is supposed to have, I have those. But I also have, you know, a character that has, you know, 2,000 some odd light in Destiny, and I could probably give you some work in Tekken. And, you know, I'm decent at Street Fighter. I'm getting better at Street Fighter. You know what I mean? I'm getting better at Street Fighter.
No, I feel it.
Decent at 2K, so you know you want to get that work. You know what I'm saying? Return to Fresh 86. Holla at me. But you know that I'm able to do all those things. So you know that's just my thought process.
I mean, yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I don't think it's worth. I mean, if the man is doing what he needs to do, he's providing, he's taking care of business. He's, you know what I'm saying? He's keeping you happy. Like, I don't think it's anything to like get frustrated and get like a divorce over. You feel me?
I think sometimes it could take away though from the marriage. Like, I can see how someone could feel that way. You know, like, hey, you play the video game more than we talk, because you know when those things kind of become like an addiction. Like you get home, like I really don't feel like doing nothing but hitting the game, and that's what you do. Like I don't really play the game like that until like you know I kick it with y'all when y'all get on there. That's why I'm no good. But you know, I never really hit it like that, so I never had that issue. You know, my wife was like, "Hell no, you ain't getting on the game." No, but I just never played like that, so I always felt like that energy is better use with doing other things. I guess I don't know. And like Mark said, maybe we have, you know, you all have your own hobbies that you do, but never. I can see how a woman can get kind of frustrated. Like I would only imagine coming home and watching Liz play a game all day. It's like looking at her get on her phone all day. That shit irritates the shit out of me sometimes. Like at home, she's on her phone, and then I look at her again, and she's still on the phone. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you doing all day?
Right. Life's happening around you.
Yeah, like you're stuck on that. So just imagine she sees that, not that you're doing it all day, but when she wants to like say something to you or she is talking to you, you're like, and you're preoccupied with something else. So I can understand it. I don't know about having trash D, but because you know them niggas out here knocking bitches. All you got is free time, fucking bitches and playing video games. You got nothing but time. You should have amazing D.
I mean, that's all I do now. I mean, basically, you become a specialist. I mean, it's all you do. Eventually, you turn into.
Boy, it's all you got. You say, I gotta fuck with my games. I gotta fuck with my payment. Baby, come here.
I'm saying. That's
So
a
I
good
can't. I don't
investment.
know. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. She's like, I gotta get him the PS5, or else he don't put it down. Like he's supposed to put it down. I don't know.
Man, you might go somewhere else where it's PS5. Yeah,
That's what
that's
some
true.
girls.
Yeah, I think it's a perception thing. I think everyone has their perceptions. Like I said, you can look at anything that anybody else does and label, put a thing on it,
True.
So I definitely understand that. But with us kind of talking about everything, so I know, like I said, I mentioned me being married, and all of us here in this podcast are married essentially, and I kind of talked about how, like at the beginning, this is basically what this helps our situation. I think we've all noticed that in general, like there's been like a big spike. There's always been a gradual spike throughout the course of the years of the divorce rate rising, so to speak. And we're just seeing that in general. It's interesting, man. It's like as a dude who's just trying to make sure you do it right? You're just trying to make sure you get through it. I'm seeing people left and right kind of going through their situations, and you're just like, damn, man, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, from your thought process, what are your thoughts on the divorce rate essentially, and your thoughts on marriage in general? I know. Obviously this is a public platform and no one's going to be, man, I hate being married, but what I'm saying.
Oh shit, nigga!
I mean,
shit,
you might. Just might. Shoot.
If I had a choice, man, if I go back and tell the young Chris about what this shit's like, I'd be like, hey, young fella, you might want to hold what you got.
Get close to the mic, Chris. Get close to the mic.
You might want to tell, hey, you might want to hold what you got. Like, marriage is tough. It's tough. I got married because I thought it would fix a lot of things. Like, I was a problem back before I got married, so I was like, yeah, I'll fix it, and I only love you. And it was like, that didn't do anything. It's just harder now, and now she takes half of all my shit. So you gotta make it work now.
Nah, I feel like that's a lot of people's story. Like they get into it to fix it, but I mean, me being a newlywed, like I came into it with like, I guess knowing like it takes work to get into it, so it's gonna take work to keep it up. Like it's a constant struggle with the relationship. Like you're dealing with a whole like separate human being that doesn't think like you think all the time, and you're like merging both of your lives into one. So it's just like that concept is just hard to grasp as a human, because you're typically like selfish, like you're always looking out for you and your thoughts and whatever. So adding another person to that is just complicated. But I mean, the more work you put in, for me, the easier it gets, really. Like, I mean, communication is like the number one thing to work on. Like, if you could communicate on anything or like talk about anything, then you can basically overcome anything in my logic.
Yeah, you gotta. That's 100% right. Because I know me and Liz, that was our number one thing. Is like we got to a point where it was easier not to communicate, so we kind of just started kind of growing apart a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so it's like we weren't doing the same things. We're not going out. It was like we completely started focusing on our careers and the kids, and it was it. Like we go to bed like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. Like it was no real conversation then. It was just like, hey, and it took like us having to, really sit down, and because we were both talking about divorce at one time for real. And so it took us both having to sit down and talk to each other and, go through some bullshit and go say, hey, the only way that this really works is when we open our mouths and talk. And I think I do better at that than she does. She has a hard time expressing her emotions, I guess. Yeah, or, her emotions are anger. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on sometimes. Or, a lot of times it's like we both just don't hit the same page. So,
gotcha.
I got it. My ego sometimes gets in the way because she'll say some wild shit. And I'll be like, yo, what's going on?
She the type to like let it like I don't
Yeah,
know, like let it build and just bubble. And it's
no,
like,
she don't
you
even
dropped
let
that
it
pencil.
build. she don't even let it build. Like she is like, she's like, hey Chris, bring me the bottle. And if you ask me to do something, that's what I'm gonna do. So I bring her the bottle. She's like, it's empty. Why didn't you fill it up? I'm like, whoa, what you got? You just asked me to bring you a bottle. That's it. In her mind, is like, if you think the bottle's empty, you fill it up. But I could also fill that bottle up. She's like, I didn't ask you to fill it up. Go empty that out. She's not supposed to have that. She's supposed to have this. So my mom, I'm just gonna give you what you asked for.
Man.
And so I explained to her, like, you have to tell me what I can't read minds. You gotta tell me what you're talking about.
Famous last words.
So it's that communication part is 100% key, because once we start talking, it's like becoming friends again, and like, you know, being able to comfortably talk about anything. Like I can say whatever I want and Liz isn't gonna freak out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like well, you know, I always tell her marriage is fucking tough, and I always tell her shit. If we didn't have kids, like the whole divorce thing, I would have been gone. But the kids let me think and go, we got to work this out. We got to figure something out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
do you attribute everything going on to like communication, like a lack of communication? Like you attribute that to, because I mean, I think someone has some stats, right? Like about like what's going on in regards to that, right?
Yeah. So I mean, like right now, holistically, marriages are going down, and that's like the past 20 years. Just less and less people are getting married. Who knows? You know, people maybe they're trying one more.
Everybody got that WAP. That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean,
hey,
when
you know,
everybody got it, you gotta see who got the best.
Women put that on like a resume. They're like, hey, I have a high school diploma. I worked 3 jobs and I have that WAP. You're like,
that's an award.
You got that WAP. Wait a second. Did she say WAP?
Let's sir, could you expound upon that WAP?
Yeah, explain to me a little more about that.
She's a winner. She's good with me.
You have to go back to your friends and be like, yeah, her resume is real good. The WAP was on there right there. It's right here. She got it.
You don't say.
It's certified and sealed. Like, it's it.
Oh, man.
It's a real thing, though. Girls are, like, throwing it out there like that. Like, my nephew be telling me about it. And, they tell him, like, I got that WAP. And niggas is like, boys are like girls now. And girls are like the guys now. It's crazy. Like, basically. The boys are, like, kind of nervous about the shit, and girls like, come bring your ass on here, let me get this WAP on. Damn. I promise you, 100%. You tell me some crazy stories.
No, that makes sense, because I mean, I was looking at the stats for the divorces, and that's actually decreasing as well. Well, excluding this year, but. So maybe that WAP is keeping them inside.
Nah, you know what I think it is too? I think more women are. Now I can't say women didn't always cheat, but I think like the narrative now, or like the city girl bullshit, has like fucked a lot of women up. I'm not gonna say, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, it fucked a lot of these women up, and they out here running around like hoes, and ain't nobody want no hoe no more. Shit, it's out here just busting it open for anybody, married and all.
You think dudes don't want hoes?
Shoot, dudes don't want hoes.
Here's
women
like,
don't want hoes.
I can explain. I told Liz this too, like, cause like, you know, a lot of these bitches got what is it? I can't call them bitches. I'm so sorry.
So his name is Chris. His name is Chris. In fact, if you look at the icon,
a word for our sponsors.
Name, it says right there, the thoughts and opinions of Chris do not affect the thoughts.
Oh my god. You're right. A little caption.
It just doesn't affect the thoughts of the rest of us here at all. Actually. Continue.
I want to apologize for my last statement. That's not what I want to call y'all.
Right around this time is when we do the speech. See, so we moved on from Chris.
We moved on. The capital.
The memories of Chris. Memory of a dark and dismal future. We must move on. One monkey can't stop the show. I'd like to say that we've officially moved on to the mark of 10 podcasts.
I forgot I was in the barbershop. My bad. I forgot. I forgot. But anyways, a lot of these women, oh man, I've even lost my fucking point because of that.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm gonna say. That I want to say something to you guys in general. In contrast, I think the concept of men, no one wanting hoes, specifically men not wanting hoes, is a bullshit concept. I think that, listen, as I'm about to say this, I consider myself to be a believer, but seeing as the modern day society is constructed in this Judeo-Christian construct, there's this idea that goes, okay, we want the woman that's chaste and this and this and so on and so forth. But if you look at a lot of the mannerisms, the things that men do in general, the things that society does in general, we love hoes.
What?
Love them.
I don't think we love them. I think we enjoy watching it, but nobody wants that to be like their girl. Like all the girls that you see that's doing all this crazy stuff, right? I don't want that to be my girl. I mean, I would love to like knock you down, but I don't want you to be mine because it's too much going on for you right now. Like everyone's seeing you. Everyone's seeing
I would say you want like the action-packed woman, like the whole mentalities.
But what is that thing that says that you don't want that? Why is that? Is that something of you? Or is that just idea that you just don't want you don't want to be standing next to the girl that looks like can be had by anybody else? Is that what that is? Or what is
no. Okay, like let's say that you're with a girl, but you know she had her little spells in college, and you know the whole football team ran through and all that good stuff, right? Like, and she's had fun. She did her fun, but then you know those are the girls that are like, okay, when they're out of that nonsense stage, they're probably the best girlfriends and wives to have because they don't want to do that no more. They're done. Now I'm talking about the girls you see on Instagram that are half naked all day and every day, and that's how they live their life. Like I don't want that. I don't want to be with that girl.
These girls are poison.
And she might not even be a hoe. She has the whole page. And every nigga in the world is just like, yeah, look at her
personality.
So you don't want my girl naked all day. So you don't want a girl that's desirable.
No, now there's a difference from being desirable and being a hoe. Like that shit that these women are doing online is like hoe shit. Like you're half-ass naked because you're half-ass naked for a like. You just want someone to say, "Ooh, nice button." Half of these guys are in your DMs like, "Wait, what you doing later?" Oh, girl, you look so like I seen a girl on Instagram that she has to like Photoshop her images, and niggas is like niggas is still on her page like, "Oh, you look so damn good." Like, how? You know this is Photoshopped. You're gonna get them and be highly disappointed. But in their mind, this is like they just wanted to have that chance. So imagine trying to be with that girl, and all you see is a bunch of niggas under your girl's page talking about what's up.
Okay.
That shit would like I'm like, yo, why do you have to show your body to everybody? Like, calm down. Can't you just accept my likes? I like you, baby. I think you look great. Why do you need the whole world to see you?
So let me see. Nah. So how
you got kids? Are you sure you could have kids?
So the question I asked you then is how. So what are the limits of attraction? Like that I'm just trying to figure out because I'm assuming we're all here married. I'm assuming at some point in time we visually looked at our individual partners and were like, yeah. So like what? Like you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to figure out a catch-22 because I figure there's some people who are profitable, who make a profit of being desirable. I think it's kind of minimizing to be like, okay, you're just doing it for life because obviously there's currency attached to those sites.
That's true.
Okay, we're talking about different separate groups, right? We have a lot of women that are not making money. They are literally just doing it for 4, 6. Like I've seen some girls do it for 20 likes, and I'm like, that's insane.
True.
Now, if you're making a living doing that, I still don't want you, but kudos to you. Like you're making that's if I could be out there just slinging dick for a living, like I mean that's what you're gonna have to do. Like
I think I could do it if she was honestly just making a living off of that and like she had her head on her shoulders and she was like, on the up and up.
You'd be cool with your girl just being naked on all platforms at all times.
Yeah, because I mean it's just like being an actor. Like you got to put that face on. You know the game. You know what it is, and then right when it goes off, like she's her.
I'm sorry, sir. I just want to know, like, why is that such a thing for you?
Me?
Is that just like personally? Yeah, like, why is that such a thing for you? I'm not
Like,
saying. Listen. I know a lot of dudes.
I guess I look at
there's
women.
dudes
I
that-
think I'm looking at women more like, if I'm gonna try to be with you, like I want somebody that my kids are proud of. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time, you're gonna have kids. Your kids are gonna have to go through school, and someone's gonna find those pictures and be like, "Oh, your mom was a hoe," and that's a whole thing your kid got to deal with.
That's a fair point.
I
just want to see.
don't want my kids to grow up doing shit like cool. You do your thing. Just have common sense to be like, "Yo, I might have kids one day to see this shit." And if you're okay with that, then you be okay with it. That's on you. I don't want you, but someone else does.
That's a fair assessment. And honestly, I can honor that. This thing about it is oftentimes I have that conversation with people, right? And I talk to them. And oftentimes the reasonings that they give is based upon other people. It's not necessarily based upon what they like or don't dislike. It's based upon like perceptions of other people. Usually the perception that your girl is easily attainable or you're whatever.
No, normally those are the hardest girls to obtain because they got too many options. But I just think about it at my the kids, and you show it to your dad and he's like, I seen her on Instagram. You're like, hey dad, calm down.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, I was just like I said, like I said, my whole initial thought process was that more than average, most dudes they like us. They like to pretend and say they don't. They like to say X, Y, and Z, but most dudes do. We all went to school together, so we all know those dudes that are like, man, that girl's a stupid hoe. And then you talk to that girl and it's like, yeah, man, he be telling me he love me all the time. X, Y, and Z. Here's the text message right here. Look at it. It's like, okay. I got it. So that's the only thing I like to address. I just think that when we look at society, when we look at everything will point that we like hoes. Now, men will say out their mouths verbally that they don't like hoes, and they'll say X, Y, and Z, they don't want that. But oftentimes, like, if we were to look at it scientifically and just look at like behavioral patterns, the behaviors will tell you that hoes are generally what most
hoes is a strong term because what is a hoe?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And that's
like,
what
I'm saying.
Like,
criteria for a hoe?
But that's and there we go. Because I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's like to say like, okay, like what is categorized as a hoe? Me personally, I look at things like this, and I mean, I went through my whole college career with that thought process that I don't really necessarily judge people for real. Like, you do what you do. That's just it is what it is. If I'm rocking with you at the time, we're just rocking with you at the time. Whatever you did prior to me is not really my business. I really don't care. Also, as well, I mean, if I'm gonna talk about you, I'm talking to you. I mean, I may tell one or two people, and it's just gonna be like, I'm not really gonna trash you in front of my boys because ultimately, at the end of the day, I decided to rock with you. I know what you did. 9 times out of 10, before you told me what you did, I already knew what you did. Like, I already knew what you.
Here's another big thing for me. I guess. Excuse me. I don't mind like if you are like a hoe, quote unquote, whatever that could be. But like, let's say that you've been ran through a lot, and a lot of guys and got with you and stuff like that.
Ran through.
A lot of niggas and fucked you, just knocked you down
without a relationship.
No, not even like you just been through a lot of.
Is there a numeric that's attributed to the word a lot?
If you've been a train ran on you, that's a lot. That's quite a bit. Like you can walk outside and a few guys are
how much is a train?
Oh, what up? You see like 5 or 6 guys like giving you hugs and like
this one.
That's a little bit of you're like, how do you know all these guys? Oh, they my friends. Like, and every guy's like, we more than friends, girl. Like, I just feel like, you get a couple trains ran on you and the basketball team has done you or football teams have done you. That's a lot for me. And, as long as you tell me up front, you say, hey, also, you talking like, hey, Chris, I'm going to be honest with you. I knocked down a lot of things, I was out there for a second. Like, don't put me in a bad situation where I'm out dapping niggas up and they done knocked you down. I have no idea because they're over looking at me like, that's you player? And I'm like, yeah, that's my girl, dog. She do that one
tongue,
thing,
don't she?
I told you, like my girl. Hey, man, I need to tell you something. Let me holler at you. He said, huh? Hey man, that's your girlfriend over there? Hell no, that ain't my girlfriend. But it was. I was like, this nigga came over too cool. Hey man, I just want to let you know. She sucked my dick for a black. I was like, whew, Lord have mercy, Jesus. Like in my mind, it's like just if she would have told me that, I would have been more prepared for that conversation. But it hurt me so bad. I was like, that dirty bitch. And it hurt me. That's all. It just hurt me. It hurt my spirit.
How many girls had to pay for that? How many girls after that paid for that?
A lot. It was her fault. And blame her because she hurt me.
Yo, man.
I thought I loved you.
Oh, man.
He was like, the black wasn't for me.
But let me ask you this, right? We understand the male psyche here. I think all of us are very comfortable with who we are, right? So we all understand the male psyche. How much of that is hate?
Hate towards.
How much of that, hey, yo, player? Is that your girl right there? How much of that is hate?
From the dude doing it?
Yeah, from the dude. How much of that is hate?
It depends, though. Man, it just depends sometimes, right? Like sometimes.
Like, I'm not taking, and before you answer, I'm not taking any type of, like, thing away from the woman in the scenario. That's not what I'm trying to do. But what I'm trying to say is oftentimes dudes hate. It's just what they do.
Yeah, 100%.
So they see you over there and you doing your thing, right? Like, what if she did that like a while back, a couple years ago? What if that was like a couple years ago? Maybe during whatever the case may be. What if there was other circumstances attached to that whole black situation?
So that kind of goes to like a question of like, do you accept their past as who they are today, or like use that as a
what I'm saying is that
component?
I'm just saying is that why do on my fault?
No, that's it.
No, I was saying is that why do we just automatically accept? Like me personally, this is my thought process. I just understand the male psyche. So when you understand the male psyche, you understand that if you walk with anything that's worth anything, there are some men who will look at you and assume that you don't deserve that. That's something that happens. I think maybe it's a spirit of competition, whatever the case may be, especially if they have anything tied to that individual. So let's say I used to talk to you, or I tried to talk to you, whatever the case may be. And now they see who you actually talk to, and it's like, okay, I'm comparing you, X, Y, and Z, to myself. So some men, not anybody here, I assume, but some men, I can say myself, I've never done this, but some men.
Yeah, I do that all the time. What are you talking about?
That's what you like? Or that's what you like?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Back like in college, I did that all the time. Like if you dated like
that's what you like how to do?
No, not even that. But let's say that you dated. Let's just say that I already talked to you, right? Just like maybe you're kind of like one of your stories. You're telling me, like, if I see you with another guy and I'm like, oh, that nigga's lame as fuck. And he checks the lame boxes off one by one. Not saying I'm the coolest guy in the world, but I go, I'm a hell of a lot cooler than this fella. Yeah, I'm gonna hit you like, oh, that's what you like, man. Shit, man.
But why does that matter?
Downgrade a girl.
Start rocking with her.
Yeah, start rocking with her. But I don't want you to rock with no one else. You my girl. So I say you.
And that's what I'm saying. So when that dude comes up to you like, hey man, is that your girl, cuz? Why don't we ever think like, hey fam, what's going on with buddy? Why don't we ever
I look at it differently though, because I've been in two different scenarios where sometimes it's respect, like, hey, my man, like I just want to let you know so you don't look crazy out here.
But when is it ever really respect, my guy?
Because he thought, like, in that situation, he thought, yo, because I didn't, I knew who he was, but like I didn't rock with him like that. And he was just like trying to just tell me, like, yo, man, if you dating her, you need to stop dating her. Like that was it.
I would say the only time it's respectful is if you know the dude and you know that she's lying to your boy, and then it's like, oh, you trying to play?
I guess I look at because look, we were in a club one time, right? Me and my other homeboys, and a nigga was like, "Yo, come here, let me holler at you." I'm like, "Yo, what's up?" He's like, "Yo, your homeboy is dancing with that girl's a man, right?" And I'm like, "Yo, where?" So I'm like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "Yo, good looking out." You know what I'm saying? And I take it like, because I never look at niggas like they hating. I'm like, all right, cool. You should say what you say. So I told my homeboy, like, yo, they just hollered at me and told me that she's a man. And my man was like, yo, man, they just hating, man, because she look good. Blah, 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 blah. And so he's like, man, fuck them niggas, man. They just hating because I got her and they don't got her. I'm like, all right, man, cool. Do you think? I don't know. But I'm just letting you know what he told me. And he took it as hate. You know what I'm saying? So, they go back and forth. They all looking at each other crazy and shit. And I'm like, yo, let me just ask this bitch. Let me ask this chick. And I'm like, yo, are you a man? And she was like, or he, whatever it was like, no. So I said, okay, well, these niggas is out here just hating on you, I guess. I don't know. Then at the end of the night, the fella pulled me over. Tough. Hey, I am a man. I just didn't want any problems. And I'm like, don't tell me, tell him. You dance with him all night. Don't tell me that. But they were looking out. They weren't hating. But you can see how that can get confused. So when, like, if someone comes up to me and tells me something, I'm like, I don't automatically think you hating. I go, all right, cool. And I go ask the person, like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah. Back check.
And I'm not automatically saying that whenever a dude comes up to you about your girl, you automatically put it in that vault of hate, because obviously, I mean, sometimes dudes be telling the truth, and then sometimes it do be just like, I'm just trying to keep it a buck with you. So, in those situations, you don't want to mess up on those times where, someone's really trying to give you some information. But the overall question that I had was just more so like, oftentimes more than none, another dude you never seen comes and tells you your girl did all types of crazy shit, and embarrassment sets in, and the dude goes home, and that relationship is done. And for me, I'll say for myself, anytime I engage in anything, I did my research. I kind of figured like I knew what was going on, and it is what it is. And I knew what the likelihoods of whatever is going on. So I try to know what the likelihoods is, because I know you'll never know the truth. But I mean, if you talk to a person a little bit and you kind of find out a little bit more about the individual, you can kind of figure out what the likelihoods of what they're doing and what they're not doing. So I had a situation where a dude tried to basically tell me that my girl was doing X, Y, and Z. I had a girl actually was in a band, and apparently there was rumors got to me that she was doing X, Y, and Z on the band trips. So I had to judge her character, and I had to look at the dudes that were saying it, and I was like, I made a decision. I was like, well, probably not, man. Like I don't, she might, and maybe I'm dumb, but I have this process. Look, I'm gonna trust you until you give me a reason not to. Trust you completely until you give me a reason not to. The second you give me a reason not to, it's like, okay, cool. So we're here. And maybe that's just one extension of my thought process. But like my whole thing about it is that I just think oftentimes that the whole hate on hoe culture, so to speak, is oftentimes based off the male psyche and how the male psyche deals with the idea that that one girl doesn't only like you. And I think that's oftentimes what I see. You want the girl that knows how to do the cool stuff, because no one wants the girl who does not know how to do anything.
Right.
So when you look at things sexually, every time we've had conversation, you talk with your boys, whatever, you had that barbershop talk, and it's like, man, I like, that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And you talk all that. Well, chances are she didn't learn how to do that with just you, right?
Right.
And if she's done it, if she does it at such a high proficiency, that might mean that she may have practice, right?
Something. Yeah. I mean, and that's why I automatically shoot back like, well, it looks like you should have kept her then. And then I go fact check and be like, let me make sure I'm good on this end, because, but I mean, at first I'm gonna stand up for what I'm in right now, and then
we go home and be like, hey man, so
do my research and my homework.
Like,
yeah, exactly. Like,
and I feel you should know your girl well enough to know when she frazzled, because when the buddy walks up to you, you can tell. When buddy walks up to you, they know. It's like, oh no.
Right.
I just think if you tell the truth, just straight up, like I've told everyone, if you tell me the truth, I'm never gonna be mad at the truth, because ain't nothing I can do about your past. Ain't nothing I can do about it. Just tell me straight up what's going on. Because I hate being like blindsided by something. I'm like, yeah, you did what? With who? When? Or, yeah. I don't know. So that's one thing. Yeah.
Well, what's the next topic, fellas?
Also,
I mean, topics.
So I mean, I guess that kind of goes into like the divorce rate rising for this year. People
Why
didn't
do you
really
think?
know
Yeah,
each
why do you think
other.
people are having so many divorces?
I
Because they're
think
trapped in the
people
house with
just
each
didn't
other.
know each other. Yeah.
People are just trapped in the house with each other. They
Nah,
haven't.
you know what? You know what I think? I
What?
think people start listening to all these, like everyone's a guru all of a sudden, right? All these relationship folks, and everyone's like, oh, let me tell you how to please your man 18,000 ways by some woman. And it's just like nonsense. And people go outside and listen to all this nonsense, and they come back and like, well, you know, you didn't do what they said to do. And it's like, well, they're not here. This is between me and you.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of that has to do with that. Like you see these things on Facebook and Instagram and what love should be, and you're like, yeah, that's it. And it's like, that's not it at all. Like half of these relationships, like everyone wants to look perfect and shit. And I think a lot of people look at it and go, I want to be perfect like that. And it's like you have to realize like every relationship has shit. You got to eat shit before you get to the better side of that. You're gonna have to eat shit no matter whatever thing, anything you do in life. You gotta go through some shit for it to be good.
Exactly.
And I don't think people get that shit.
It's not worth fighting for. It's not worth it.
It becomes too hard, and most people don't like hard. They go, well, I just want to go get me a perfect relationship. And it's like, nigga, once you get with that person, or whoever you know, a lot of people they start cheating with somebody, and like the person I'm cheating with so much better. It's like, nigga, you don't live with that motherfucker. You see that nigga for a limited time of day, so you can only be cool. Like you can't fuck up in a limited time of day. They don't see you when you come home and you know you all fucked up and angry. You only see the good part of you, and then they smashing, and then then y'all going. Like ain't nothing bad about that.
Very true, man.
Everyone's like, I love that person. Then you live with them for 2 weeks, and you're like, oh man, I might as well stay at home.
I think what you're talking about is contributed to divorce as a whole, right? And especially when you're talking about cheating. I do agree with you. I think that's a big proponent of that. Because, I mean, of course, you go through your situations and it's like, okay, cool. You go to your little situations and then you find something and then it's just only for a time being because you have whatever you have back home, right? So, it's easy for you to just, you don't have the ability to fight. Like, I remember watching a podcast and they're talking about long distance bays, like relationships, long distance relationships. It's like when you're in a long distance relationship and you go visit somebody, right? And you're from another state or whatever, you don't even have the opportunity to really fight for real because you don't get to see that person. So really, essentially, all you're doing is like catching up on all the physical activity, whatever that may be, while you're in there. You don't really have the opportunity to fight. Well, I mean, think about being in a scenario where you're just like you're the side or whatever the case may be, whatever, whatever, however you want to say it. And that's what's happening. Well, now, do you have time to really talk about, do you have time to really talk about anything else?
Hell
no. Time to talk about? I think they do have time to talk. Like, I think when you cheat and you do all that shit, because I'm not gonna lie, back in the day, I used to cheat all the time. And it was mainly just because, like, for me, it was more ego. Like, my ego was, like, out of control. So that's basically why I did it. But you have the time to talk and all that bullshit. Like, you get the time to talk. But the time that you're talking about all the fun shit. You don't have to do. You're not dealing with finances. You're not dealing with real life shit. You're just dealing with the fantasy life of what could be.
Yeah.
And everyone's cool with the what could be. Even the side piece, because she's like, one day I'm gonna be the main piece, and that's all she cares about. She's working for one thing. When you got it, it's like shit. Man, you better work harder than this. But the side chick is always gonna be okay with being side because she's like, I'm just trying to get to that main spot. Whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna shut the hell up and I'm gonna get to that main spot. Whatever I gotta do.
That's interesting. That's very true though. Like it's like little micro burst of like, I don't know, excellence. Like where you're basically like creating small little pockets of like perfect situations. Like you either going off the excitement of you're getting away with this, that you're doing this on the side, or I don't know, like something in that manner, something in that world. And
you
with
get
the
a
real
bunch
relation,
of nothings.
yeah, basically. And that's it. Like, you're not talking about the real world, like you said. It's just that world.
It's a fantasy world that everyone lives in.
The candy, the sugars, the sweets.
And it's like, it's non-existent. So I never, like, that's what I was like, I never understood some of the girls, like, back in the, like, I never understood them because they're like, I'll wait. I'm like, God damn, what's she waiting for? Waiting for a long time. But they were waiting. They sat in the background and they waited.
Hey, man. I don't know. I mean, maybe those people don't really know how to build a real relationship. I feel like that speaks to. Because you're basing it. Go ahead.
No, I think they see things that they want.
Yeah, they see certain things that they like, or certain things that, you know, they would like to be a part of. Sometimes it's just, you know, I just like being around. But
true, I never understood. Seen it for like 5 seconds. It's like a micro, like a little peek, a little sliver into your life. Like, okay.
Well, if you think about it, in any scenario, right, every relationship is based off just a peak, the sliver. Like, when you think about it, right?
But you build.
I mean, let's not incriminate ourselves, but we've all been in scenarios where
situationships.
We saw something and was like, that's awesome, and then it's like, oh, okay, no, okay. So how much longer do we think we're gonna do this? Like, I think we've all been there. So to some degree, right, you can understand it, right? You can understand it because we've all done it. We've all looked at the situation and was like, all right, bet. That's it right there. And then you jump in and it's like, I mean, there's a lot of dudes right now that are with their side piece. And I'm like, damn, I probably shouldn't let my wife.
I get it. What was the whole, I used to tell you guys that all the time, like the whole, like, going out to cheat and shit. Like, it's like you got fucking Ruth Chris at home, but because you eat there every fucking day, it's just like McDonald's had a 3 for $3 menu. You're like, God damn, really good as hell. You got Ruth Chris though.
Promo.
Like, you run over there and eat some. You're like, this ain't about shit. Let me take my ass back home, baby. I'm tripping. I ain't never gonna go over across the street again.
Yeah, I understand. Like, so we all fall privy to it. And I just wanted to give the other side of it because we're being a little harsh on the ladies, but we do. I mean, a lot of us do the same things. Like, we look at something for a hot second and we go, okay, man, like, that's all right. And you walk over there and it's like, nah, it's not all right at all. You know what I mean? And it's just what it is. I mean, because the whole thing about marriage and working with somebody, even in a relationship, is it's really the colliding of two worlds. So when you look at your world and you look at the whole concept of, like, the whole example of the world, it's the whole ecosystem and everything that comes in. And imagine colliding another world on top of that and try to terramorph it into one situation. Think about everything that will happen. Think about the collateral damage. Think about what will die. Think about what will survive. And what will survive, if the process works, is probably something that'll be stronger. But in the process of dying and in the process of working that out, it's like, shit. Especially on initial impact. I remember when I first got married and we were working on finances. I mean, personally, I was a little irresponsible, so, and I was used to it. And I was okay with it. And, just dealing with a person who really wasn't, it was just kind of like, hey, fam, tell me that I can't eat a $15 lunch at work every day. Who the fuck are you? But now I look at it and it's like, nigga, $15 for lunch every day?
Shit, ching. Start stacking.
I think, I guess mine was like colliding worlds. I think me and Liz were together so long before we got married that our worlds were already together. It was just being young. Like, that was my biggest issue, is being young and trying to have a relationship and still try to hang out with my boys that, didn't actually, nobody was really in a relationship. So it's like, I still want to do hood rat things with my friends, but I got a girl at home too. So I think a lot of that had to do with that. But, like, as far as, like, colliding and, doing all that, me and Liz were so intertwined about shit, and she supported me so much about a lot of things. It's just like, it was easy. That transition for me was easy. It was just like, as time goes on, you're with someone so long, like, you gotta start, other things get in the way. Work and trying to do all this other nonsense. It's just all of it just seems to like hit you. Because me and Liz, I remember at one point in time just said, we're going to focus on work because we want to make sure we have what we have for our kids and all that other stuff. That's all we could focus on, work. And then that turned into, having 2 kids. And it was like, well, the kids, they take up all your time by the time you get home. You really only, before COVID, you only spent 4 hours at home, 4 or 5 hours really at home.
Right.
And so it was just like, you get home, kids eat, bath. We're all tired now. Let's go to sleep.
Man.
And it was just like, it is like you look at it and a year goes by and you're like, shit, we haven't talked at all.
Yeah, and I think that was the biggest thing for me and Hannah. Like, we were similar to you, so like we were already like intertwined like 6 years deep. So I mean, everything was already like connected.
Right.
So our biggest thing was just keeping the open lines of communication and like not bottling up and trying to like attack each other, and just create that open atmosphere to have that conversation of those tough talks of what you don't like or what you do like, so that you're building that person that actually builds you up when you're actually down and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know, I guess waiting as long as we didn't really go through
Like, yeah,
really
like
much of
because
anything.
Liz, but me, when I had no money. So
Yeah.
she was paying rent. So I was like, we never had the finance problems because like we had them already. Like we were at the bottom of the bottom. So anytime bad things would happen, like I lose my job or some shit, she was like, let's move. We know what this is like.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess I never had to deal with that.
Yeah. I think we had a brief touching with that this year when I lost my job at the beginning of COVID, and she was just like, "It's whatever, like, let's go." And I was like, "Okay, like, let's go."
And those things make you feel like you're this is why we're together, because we see like the bullshit that you don't have to be all lovey-dovey, but when shit hits the fan, it's like, okay, they're down. But I know some people, they see those finances going, they're like, nigga, you like, bullshit.
I'll be at my mom's. I
don't know where your ass gonna be with your broke ass.
Hope you could buy this thing. Man, yeah, it gets pretty rough pretty quick.
Yeah, it does.
So there was no adjustments that had to be made for you guys in general?
When I lost my job.
Oh, you talking about? No, I'm just talking in general. Like, so when you guys got to the point where you guys were together, right? Or you guys officially became married, like I know, like there was no initial adjustments that needed to be made, or there was no new norm, or everything just kind of seamlessly worked to how it was. Like I know me and you, Chris, have been married for a little bit. So I mean, over the time period, have you had to make adjustments, or are you acting the same, or have changes had to be made?
Oh yeah, man. Of course you make adjustments because you're married now. So a lot of things adjusted. Like I don't go out 7 days a week. You have a lot of adjustments because you're like, I'm married now, but like.
Did you make those adjustments on your own, or did you have to have a conversation that like, or there's like conversations that had to be had for those adjustments to be made?
I think it wasn't even a conversation. It was just, I think with time with me anyway, is like I start watching my surroundings and who I'm around and people I'm around, and I was just like, I don't want to be like that no more. So I just stopped because I was like, I saw like I'm wasting more money going out like this. The people that I'm around are all broke. So why am I hanging out with these guys? Like I don't want to be around this anymore. So I just stopped. And it had nothing to do because like I think because me and Liz have been together, she understood like, yeah, I want to go out on the weekends. So I used to just go out on the weekends. And then I was just like, I don't want to do this no more. She was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I'd rather, because, then, we had Caden and Charlie. And it was like, it's easier just to hang out at home and drink. And then, of course, towards, once we got married and I started doing better at work and, advancing in my career and stuff, like, things get better. Like, your house is a lot nicer and things you want to do is a lot better. So you don't want to, it's like, I don't have to leave if I don't want to leave.
Okay. All right. Well, just asking. I was asking in general. I just know for me, I mean, there was adjustments and those conversations essentially that had to be had. And I know from my period that, I mean, I'm very strong-willed. So, and because of the way I approach life, essentially, I'm usually of the mind that, typically my thought process is how the correct thought process was. So I just had to learn just to see things through other lenses, other people's lenses. So that's one thing I would have to say I had to learn. I had to just really have to understand, like, okay, well, and it's a lesson that I was already kind of learning beforehand, prior to, but it was like this situation forced me to have to see things through another lens. It's like, oh, okay, all right. And I may not necessarily like it or agree with it, but it's like, okay, well, I have to respect it. So that whole aspect of mutual respect also had to be learned as well. So, but I guess that's just my little deal. Really deal.
Yeah,
Really deal.
I think that would be mine. Like the last part, the mutual respect, like just asking her, not really for like permission, but more so like, are you okay? Are you taken care of? Like, is everything all right? And
You ask him permission, dog. It's all good, man. We still like you, man. We'll still be friends with you, dog.
nah, I mean that's cute, but
it's okay, dog.
It's
Hey,
wrong.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Tim.
It's cute,
I
but
gotta
it's
ask
wrong.
permission. I'm like, hey, Liz, I was wondering if it'd be okay, because my friends, and it's like a birthday party with all my friends. I'm gonna be there. I'm just wondering if it's okay for a couple minutes, maybe a couple hours. I'll be back by 12:30. If I could go. She's like, no. All right.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I can't go. I can't go outside and play today.
In fact, go to your room.
Right.
Yo, it's crazy. I be thinking about this shit all the time. Like, I work so hard to get out of my mom and dad's house to be like, yo, because they tell you what to do, and it's like I got my black ass right back in it. I gotta go ask, like, I gotta ask to do anything. Like, shit, I just want to go out. No, Chris, not tonight. What you mean not tonight?
Nah, I mean, it's more so for like balancing schedules in a sense. Like, all right, I'm gonna jump on the game tonight. I'm gonna talk to the fellas tonight or whatever. And then like just keeping in mind that I've done this like maybe 5 days straight. Like obviously at that point she's standing at the door like, I wish he would
What you doing,
ask
nigga?
me. Like you better bring your ass to bed right now.
Yeah, I gotta go, guys.
Yeah. All right. So, but yeah, that's probably my biggest hurdle to get over. So,
21. But I mean,
it might not be
Neon
me.
suspended, so you think he's gonna go ahead and make $1 million there? I should so.
This nigga can't see because it's red, but neon's a good color too.
I mean, listen. I mean, that's just you got a shitty camera, sir. I don't know. Like
I do
my
not.
shit looks like red. My shit looks like red.
This looks like
yours both
red.
look like red.
Yeah, Mark, you just have a shitty receiver in camera.
A receiver in camera. That's what it is. It's a shitty
LCD screen.
Okay.
You have a terrible.
All right, everybody in the comments, let me know what the color of Chris's suspenders are. Is it orange or is it red?
Yeah. And also, let us know your New Year's resolutions and what content you want to hear about.
Please like, share, and subscribe. Smash that like button.
Is that everyone's attempt for close? Is that what that was?
I
mean, we're going to record it, but yeah.
It sounded good to me.